Guys, welcome back to another episode of Real NoVA Network. This week we have some really fun stories that go from hot air balloon festivals all the way to scary haunted mansions. And of course, we're also talking about some housing numbers so you can stay up to everything, all real estate here in Northern Virginia. But the best part, I am finally settling one of the biggest debates of our time, a $300,000 debate between Woodbridge and Ashburn once and for all. So let's get started with the video. Okay, check this out. The Flying Circus Annual Hot Air Balloon Festival is happening in September 20th through the 21st in Bealeton, Virginia, right in Fauquier County. And this thing is going to be absolutely amazing. We're talking about dozens of hot air balloons launching twice a day from 7 to 9 a.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. The gates open at 6 a.m. And honestly, if you have never seen a mass balloon launch at sunrise, you are missing out on something really special. Now here's where it gets interesting with the cost. Tethered balloon rides are $20 for adults and $10 for kids. It's actually not too bad, right? But if you want the full experience with free flight balloon ride, that'll be $300 per person, cash only. But speaking of cash, wait until I break down the huge financial decision that could literally save you $300,000 in Northern Virginia. I'm gonna be coming back to that in a bit. Now you can also book airplane rides to see the balloons from above in an open cockpit biplane. Some passenger rides are around $135 for standard to $200 for aerobatic. Wow, that actually sounds crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna spend $200 to get flown around in an aerobatic, vintage airplane. But these planes are cool. If you've never been to that Flying Circus, it's in a really random spot out there in Bealeton, kind of by 17 area. If you were going out to Warrenton, there's tons of wineries out there if you wanted to make a day trip. I've been out there before. It is really cool, man. There's like all these vintage airplanes flying around doing tricks. There's crowds out there. It's actually something that if you've never been to that before, you will be shocked that it's even located here in Northern Virginia. The Flying Circus also puts on air shows at 1:30 p.m. both days. Plus they have food vendors, shaded picnic areas, and honestly, the whole thing feels like you're stepping back into small town America. From a real estate point of view, events like this are really cool for Fauquier County. I wish Fauquier would do more events like this. I think the Flying Circus is actually a really cool thing. And honestly, Bealeton is an area that's slowly starting to blow up. Like there's that new Ryan Home community that went on for a while as well. And this is only 45 minutes away and you get to see some really nice Virginia farmland. That's kind of like, when I say 45 minutes, it's only 45 minutes from DC with no traffic, of course, but you go out there, it feels like you're in the Midwest, all this open farmland. So if you've never been out to Fauquier on that side of like the Bealeton area, you definitely want to check that out. Now, after speaking about real Virginia experiences, let's talk about the Virginia State Fair, the granddaddy of them all. But before we jump into the State Fair madness, here's the deal. If you want the inside scoop on everything Northern Virginia real estate, from off-market listings to hidden gem neighborhoods, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. I mean, like literally, what are you waiting for? People that told me they hit the subscribe button on Real NoVA Network, like literally have twice the luck of people who don't. And I'm not just talking about balloon festivals and fair food here. This channel is your access to everything happening in Northern Virginia real estate. All right, so the Virginia State Fair is happening September 26th through October 5th in Doswell, and that thing is going to be massive. We're talking about a 10-day festival with live music every single night. Herman Hermits kicks off things on the 26th. Junior Six brings Bluegrass on September 30th, and Quiet Riot takes the stage on October 3rd. All shows start at 7:30 p.m. and they are included with admission. The competition scene is wild. We've got 4-H forestry and agriculture contests, culinary competitions split between youth and adult, creative art contests with 42 different divisions, and they're even hosting the world record holder for the largest butternut hot squash. And if you think this is amazing, just wait until you hear some of the cool haunted houses that are coming to Northern Virginia, so get ready to be freaked out just a little bit. Now, the ticket prices actually aren't that bad. You can get a discount if you buy ahead of time, or it'd be $13.50 online or $16 to $20 at the gate, depending on which day you go. The rides are separate charges with a credit system. $10 gets you 100 credits, 20 gets you 200, and 50 gets you 500. And they've got two sections: Midway Madness for all the thrill seekers and Kidway for the little ones. But here's what I think is interesting. Doswell is about an hour from Northern Virginia, depending on which part you go from. And I'm seeing more families factor access to events like this into their home churches. And obviously Doswell is close to Kings Dominion, and then that huge water park that's going to be going into Spotsylvania is about 45 minutes from here. That's also super close to Doswell. And I think this is smart thinking. You can buy a house with good access to Virginia attractions like this, and you're saving thousands on family entertainment every year while getting that authentic experience kids remember forever. Plus parking's free, which honestly, try finding that at a DC area event. Okay, now let's shift gears and talk about housing numbers that are absolutely going to blow your mind. So I've been digging into the latest Fairfax County housing numbers, and what I'm seeing is pretty remarkable. The median sales price in Fairfax County is $765,000 in July, which is actually up 4% from last year. But here's the real story. Inventory is growing significantly. We had 1,692 homes for sale, which is up 40% from 2024. And that's a substantial increase, giving buyers way more options than they've had in recent years. Now, days on market stretched from 15 days last year to 19 days. Now, still fast, but buyers actually have time to think. I'm looking back at some of my buyers right now that are looking. We are seeing about 25% fallout rate, meaning like home inspections, appraisal, things like that. But Fairfax County is actually still a really hot market. When you look at areas like Florida, Alabama, you're seeing 6 months of inventory, where Fairfax, the average days on market is only 21 days. And from what I'm seeing in the field, we're about to be a hyper competitive seller's market, something that's going to be way more balanced. Sales dropped 6% to 1,144 homes in July compared to last year. And if these numbers shock you, just wait until I talk about Woodbridge versus Ashford situation that's going to blow your mind. I'm getting there in a few minutes. Now, for buyers, this is your moment. There's more inventory to choose from, and negotiating power is back. Something that just wasn't happening 18 years ago or during COVID. The market's showing strength across housing types too. Detached homes in Fairfax average $1.17 million with 590 sales, while townhomes and attached homes averaged $570,000 with 554 sales. And if you're thinking about selling, you've got to price your home right in this market. We're seeing a lot of sellers still kind of shooting for their moon, and you cannot do that in this market. Also, the home has to show really well. I just went on an appointment the other day in Fairfax, and the people had inherited the property, and we're bringing in a company that's going to do work now in the house, get it to show as a 10. Going to cost them $40,000 or $50,000, but get this, the company can get paid at closing, and so then that allows the seller to net a lot more money. So we have all kinds of creative things that we can do to help you get top dollar for your house. So let's talk about something totally different. Northern Virginia's most terrifying attractions. So apparently Northern Virginia has become a destination for people who actually enjoy being terrified. And I've got to admit, some of these haunted attractions are pretty impressive. We're talking about 9 different venues across the region, each offering their own style of horror. You've got Fields of Fear over at Cox Farms running through November, Mad Howder's Madhouse in Percyville with an intense 9 out of 10 scare rating, and the story-driven Darkwood Manor all the way out in Luray, Virginia. Then there's the historic Workhorse Haunt in Lorton, turning fairy tales into horror, Milltown Haunt in Lovettsville with 3 separate attractions, and Factory of Fear's multi-story hotel in Manassas. And don't forget about Clifton's Haunted Trail one-night experience, only Haunted Nightmares at High Hill Farms in Winchester, and Haunted Hollows abandoned farm setting out in Warrenton. These places have everything from family scares to extreme blackouts. You're talking like Friday the 13th, Jason, Saw movie type crazy stuff. But you've got your traditional haunted houses to immerse escape room experiences, and some places that blur the line between fun and straight up nightmares. What's interesting about real estate when it comes into this right now, what do haunted houses have to do with real estate unless you're selling a house that's really haunted? I think a lot of these things keep people in Northern Virginia, where you have a lot of cool attractions and you don't have to go to DC as much. A lot of people ask me, is there anything to do in Northern Virginia? And I like seeing all these different attractions and different cool things pop up. Like years ago, growing up, you would have had to go into DC or Baltimore for things like this. Of course, DC or Baltimore, you can see some crazy stuff, right? But so haunted attractions do boost local businesses during the fall season. Restaurants, gas station, hotels, everybody kind of benefits from the Halloween fun. Like I live in Gainesville, right? And being close to Jiffy Lube Live, it really keeps a lot of the hotels, bars, and business, as well as there's been people that have actually wanted to live close to Jiffy Lube. And I've had clients get season passes and go like all season long to all the different concerts that Jiffy Lube offers. So you know what, Northern Virginia, there is a lot to do here. Don't let people trick you into saying there is not. Virginia does have a lot of charm and apparently a lot of horror as well. Now for our final story, let's talk about the biggest financial decision most Northern Virginia families will ever make. Okay, so Ashburn versus Woodbridge. Same general Northern Virginia lifestyle, similar commute to DC, but we're talking about a $300,000 difference for comparable housing. Let me break down the actual numbers. In Woodbridge, the median home price sits at $520,000, coming around $253 a square foot. In Ashburn, it goes all the way up to $825,000, which is $313 per square feet, roughly 60 more than Woodbridge. That price gap isn't just about spending more or less, it represents different lifestyles and amenities. Woodbridge consistently gives you more house for your money, is actually the fastest growing suburb in all of the United States. And you'll find plenty of listings here, so buyers have more choices and a lot more negotiating power. On the other hand, Ashburn home buyers face intense competition, with multiple offers being the norm. Strategies like offering rent backs and waiving inspections have become more common. Both areas have top rated schools, but Loudoun County, home to Ashburn, consistently ranks higher across the state with more competitive academics and resources for college admissions. Woodbridge and Prince William County does have some top schools like Mary G. Porter, traditional elementary. I don't even know why that's so hard for me to say. And the environment is known for being balanced and less pressure. Looking at property taxes, Ashburn benefits from a lower rate due to the data centers of about 0.80, partly thanks to the data centers, like I said, and offering resident cost offsets, right? And then Woodbridge and Prince William County, it's about 1.04. Now there is a lot of data centers here at Prince William, so when are they going to lower the tax rate? Commutes are actually similar by car. Expect about 40 to 46 minutes to DC for the Pentagon, but Ashburn's Metro Silverline provides reliable train options just 10 minutes from Dulles Airport. Woodbridge offers the BRE train station to Union Station, making travel times predictable and giving direct access to downtown. Plus, demographics show Ashburn's median household income is $153,000 with a median age of 41, compared to Woodbridge's $100,000 and 33 years age median. That's kind of crazy. I had no idea it was that big of a difference. Bottom line, Woodbridge offers more value, a young and diverse community, and easier access to outdoors for a lot cheaper price. Ashburn commands premium with competitive schools, resort-style amenities, and proximity technology corridors like Dulles Airport. But don't let the sticker shock get you down. I think both of these areas are great. Woodbridge obviously is a little bit older, but they've got plenty to do there. You've got all kinds of awesome things going on in Dumfries area as well. And then Ashburn, you've got One Loudoun, you've got the Commanders practice field. Of course, you've got like pretty much anything and everything to do over in Ashburn, and you can just hop on the Metro and go right into DC. So if you are thinking about buying or selling, my team and I can definitely jump on a call with you. Email me info@colganteam.com. But all right, guys, that wraps up another crazy week here in Northern Virginia. What do you think? Ready to float above Fauquier County in a hot air balloon? Surprised about how much Fairfax inventory has exploded? And seriously, Team Ashburn or Team Woodbridge for $300,000 decision? Drop a comment. I want to hear from you guys. And if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, definitely email me info@colganteam.com, and I'll see you at the top or from the top.